Hello there, folks. My name is Spoonks, and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, making $2.5 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $16 million, and that total still stays the same as it still hasn't been released in any international countries yet. So while the film is showing some staying power, it is holding pretty well. It's lasted a bit longer in the top 5 than I was expecting. It's still, unfortunately, not enough, as it's just barely reached over halfway, making it back its $30 million budget domestically. This is just not a good total at all, unfortunately. Again, even though it's had a bit better staying power and a bit better word of mouth recently. Again, I'm seeing more people talk about it on social media, but unfortunately it's not enough to help the movie. Sadly, it'll be out of the top 5 very soon, and unfortunately it is quite the flop, sadly, as I really like this movie. If you've seen my review, I wish it would have done better, but unfortunately maybe this came out at a bit of a bad time. Maybe the interest just wasn't there, but overall just not a great performance. Number 4 was Evil Dead Rise, making $3.7 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $60 million and a worldwide total of $132 million. Well, folks, Evil Dead finally did it. It surpassed Shazam! Fury of the Gods domestically to become the studio's highest grossing film of the year. If you told me this would happen 3 months ago, I would have surely called you crazy, yet here we are. And the even crazier thing is that its worldwide total is just like under $200,000 behind Shazam's worldwide total, which is absolutely insane. So yes, I do think it's safe to say that this movie will become Warner Brothers' biggest movie of the year, both domestically and worldwide, which again, you told me this 3 months earlier, I would have called you crazy, yet here we are. Just shows the strong staying power of this movie. It just dipped 37%, which is great for a horror movie, especially with it being the only horror movie out right now. It shows how strong horror is as a major film genre right now, going up against these big blockbusters, and of course the popularity of Evil Dead and how much people are resonating with the movie. And of course, thanks to its cheap budget, this has been more than profitable. Again, very sure that Warner Brothers is very happy to see this movie doing so well, especially since we're about to kick off the summer movie season and have all their big movies come out. So just before that kicks off, they have this neat little win for them, I think is very appreciated overall. And again, another win for horror, another win for Evil Dead. Not much more else to say. I think it's going to continue to do very well. We'll see how much longer it lasts in the top 5. It still has time before The Boogeyman, but again, lots of big movies headed on the horizon, so we'll see how much longer it lasts in the top 5. But yeah, still otherwise a very surprising huge success for Evil Dead. Number 3 was Book Club 2, opening with $6.6 million this weekend domestically and $9 million worldwide. So while I didn't have huge expectations for this movie, I gotta be honest, I was a bit surprised by how much this kind of underperformed, honestly. I was thinking like maybe something similar to like 80 for Brady. I think that was the big comparison for a lot of people. And you know, the first one was a modest hit back in 2018, but then again, that was back in 2018, and I don't think a lot of people even remember that movie. So I definitely think that was a big factor. They just waited too long. Obviously, I'm sure the pandemic had a big factor to that as well. But yeah, I don't think anyone was really asking for a sequel to Book Club. There was barely any buzz from what I saw, and the marketing wasn't even all that prevalent compared, again, to like 80 for Brady, which I saw tons of ads for. Where here, maybe I got the trailer here and there, a couple ads, but that was about it. And unfortunately, I don't think this movie is going to have the strongest legs either, as audiences do not like this movie all that much, or at least not as much as the first film. The first one got like an A- A cinema score rating. This got a B. That's a big downgrade from the first one. So I don't think too many fans of this series were all too jazzed about this one, so I'm very concerned about the word of mouth and of course the competition on the horizon. That's going to affect this movie's performance as well. So yeah, overall not very good start for this movie. It costed $20 million. Hopefully it can muster up some way to make that back, but I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately. Number 2 was the Super Mario Brothers movie, making $12 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $535 million and a worldwide total of $1.2 billion. So while it does seem likely that this is the point where the film is on its way out, starting to slow down a bit, it is still putting up a good fight at the box office. It only dropped like roughly 32% from the previous weekend, which is incredible. And it pushed its worldwide total into some other bigger milestones. First off, it is now officially the biggest movie ever in Mexico, believe it or not. So congratulations there. And in terms of other records, it is now the 4th highest grossing animated film of all time worldwide. It surpassed the entire worldwide gross of Minions and is sitting behind Incredibles 2, Frozen, and Frozen 2. Just once again, an absolutely outstanding run at the box office for this movie, so much so that I'm kind of running out of things to say about it. But yeah, still, huge congratulations. Again, we'll see how much steam this movie has left in itself, again with the huge competition. But again, I feel like similarly to like Evil Dead Rise, where that film is one of its kind, really, this is another film that's one of its kind, as it still has plenty of time before The Little Mermaid and Spider-Verse become the next big family animated movies. So I think it'll benefit from that for sure, and the drop-offs will continue to be this well, as we've seen time and time again with other family animated movies that came out in the past couple of years. So yeah, overall, another solid weekend for the Super Mario Brothers movie. Don't have much more else to say here. And finally, let's end the video off with the number 1 movie of the weekend, which was, for the second weekend in a row, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, making $62 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $214 million and a worldwide total of $530 million. So the film was able to hold very well. In fact, it had the 3rd best hold in the entire MCU, just sitting behind the first Black Panther and the first Thor movie, believe it or not. As I was expecting this movie to do, word of mouth has really taken off. It had very strong daily numbers, and everyone I know who have seen it has just absolutely adored this movie. So I really found it hard to believe that this movie would take another Ant-Man and the Wasp level drop off. I wasn't seeing that, but even I was surprised by how well this movie was holding. It just shows how strong this movie is resonating with people, and you know, if an MCU movie is really, really good, people will go and see it. And because of this, not only has the film surpassed the entire domestic and worldwide gross of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but it is now officially the 2nd highest grossing film of the year, of course behind the Super Mario Brothers movie. This is looking like it's going to be a pretty modest hit for Marvel, and while, again, as I've said many times in this video, competition is on the horizon, I think this movie is still going to hold very well. I think the word is still getting out there that this movie is really good, and I think it'll be able to face off against the competition fairly well. And also, given the fact that it's going to be the only MCU film for the rest of the summer, since the Marvels got pushed back to November, I think that'll benefit the movie as well. So yeah, a very solid weekend for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We'll see if it can continue to be doing these impressive numbers. But yeah, still right now, this movie is headed on the right track for sure. And those were your top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet, as we've got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend we have one new major wide release, that film being Fast X, or Fast 10, however you want to call it. That's right, folks, there are 10 of these movies now, and this is said to be the first part of an originally 2, but now apparently 3-part finale. Now, this is going to be a very interesting weekend, because I do believe this is going to have a very big opening weekend. The marketing has been fantastic. The buzz has been super duper strong. And I think in the grand scheme of things, you know, compared to everything else that's come out and like the summer movie season, just everything else, I think we're going to see a very solid number for sure. The last movie did very well. given the circumstances. But even with those positives, there is one crucial detail that is holding this film back, and that is the budget. You see, given all the production issues going on, apparently Vin Diesel was not easy to work with. The director quit halfway through making the movie, and they had to hire a new one. And all the delays, the budget has skyrocketed to around $340 million. So, put it lightly, this movie needs to make a lot of money just to break even. So it is definitely going to be a very interesting performance, especially its opening weekend. We'll see how word of mouth is. I don't think it's going to pull off an Avatar, not even a Top Gun, but if it at the very least can pull off maybe a Jurassic World, then it can probably be successful. But yeah, it really is that one major factor, because had the budget been cheaper, I'd say, oh yeah, this movie's going to do very well. But you know, that's a really big budget. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull that off. But we'll see how well this movie truly does, as well as the rest of the movies that land in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.